My name is Rich Garella, and I'm one of the co-founders of Protect Our Vote Philly. We may be the only callers tonight offering a way to bring money in. Commissioner Deely testified yesterday that the commissioners need more money because of various increased costs, and for the first time, she listed additional costs of the ES&S Express Vote Excel voting system, like paper ballots, testing, and high moving costs. There's also a huge new warehouse. These costs are high not just compared to the old machines, but compared to other new voting systems. And that's on top of a purchase price of $29 million, 3 times what Allegheny County spent. But only now, a year after the rigged procurement process, we start to hear about these costs. That's because the Commissioner's office is a budgetary black box. They don't want the people's representatives here in Council to understand just how much these machines will cost year after year. Meanwhile, the machines are failing to perform. They produced incorrect tabulations in Northampton. So
unknown participant is now exiting.
Let's show our whole ballot on one screen, which was their big selling point. Dozens of them failed on Election Day in a variety of ways, and now half of them will be gathering dust, not just because of the pandemic, but because Pennsylvania is moving toward vote by mail. What a terrible investment that was. We could get that $29 million back, but the commissioners and the law department are fighting tooth and nail to make sure ES&S gets to keep it, even taking the vendor's side in lawsuits. They seem to be working for ES&S rather than for the people. The fact is, we got taken, and if we can get our money back, we should. $29 million would be a big help right now. So before giving the commissioners more money, I hope the members of council will ask them exactly what they need it for. And if they need money so badly, why not at least try to get that money back? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your advocacy. The next couple names, Matt?
Scott McCarthy, Gloria Gilman, Sharon Strauss.
Hi, my name is Scott McCarthy. I'm also associated with and work with Protect Our Vote Philadelphia. I am testifying today to request that no increases are made to the budget for the office of the Philadelphia City Commissioners until such time as that office begins to operate in a more open and transparent manner. My particular concerns are with how the City Commissioners have operated in bad faith with regard to their decision to purchase the ES&S EVXL voting machine, and how the Commissioners refuse to address questions posed to them during their periodic sunshine meetings. The City Commissioners steadfastly refuse to provide the public adequate time and opportunity to evaluate the EVXL voting machine versus alternative methods and machines, particularly in contrast to how other Pennsylvania counties provided their citizens this opportunity. What is most troubling is that the City Commissioners had an option to choose hand-marked paper ballots, which meet all the most up-to-date election safety protocols, and that would have saved the city over $20 million versus purchasing the EVXL. Why should we support additional funding for this office when it demonstrates such a blatant disregard for the city's finances? Ironically, in order to address public safety concerns related to the current pandemic, the commissioners are now embracing the use of hand-marked paper ballots as the alternative to in-person voting at polling stations that are using the EVXL. Lastly, I have attended and offered public comment during numerous City Commissioner Sunshine meetings. In every instance, the commissioners refuse to answer questions that are posed to them or otherwise engage in any form of dialogue. Such disregard for civic engagement is a slap in the face to taxpayers and demonstrates that these commissioners have not earned the public trust that is inherently built into any decision to provide that office with increased funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Gloria Gilman and Sharon Strauss.
Is that our final 2 testifiers?
Yes, those are the last 2 testifiers on the list. I also have Murielle McCarthy, if Muriel's still on the line.
Anyone who is left on the line to testify, please proceed with your testimony. Thank you for your patience. Murielle, Gloria.
And a reminder to press *6 if you are still on the line.
Going once, going twice. Let me thank our council colleagues who have hung in there and the staff and the entire team for pulling this together.
Hello?
Yes?
This is Gloria Gilman. May I speak?
Yes, absolutely, Gloria. We're
Okay.
waiting for you. Proceed.
So-
Thank you. Thank you
Sorry,
for
I
your
have trouble
patience.
getting in.
That's
Okay.
fine. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman Sanchez and the rest of council. My name is Gloria Gilman. I'm testifying about bills 200, 287, and 200, 307. I'm the first chair of the Democratic Party 2nd Ward, chair of Philadelphia Neighborhood Networks, and a member of Protect Our Vote Philly. City Commissioner Deely testified yesterday that the mayor's budget proposal might bankrupt her office by the November 2020 general election. This cannot be true as the fiscal year begins in July, and no reasonable explanation has been offered as to what necessary expenses between July 1st and the beginning of November would deplete the entire year's budget. Please explore in detail the actual necessary expenses for the Commissioner's office to do its job. They've been in office without adequate oversight and have taken steps this past year to shield themselves further from public scrutiny by transferring many decisions formerly made by the commissioners in a public forum to in-house staff not subject to the Sunshine Act. You need to look carefully at what the Commission's actual required expenses are, as it was only yesterday when Commissioner Deely admitted that the newly purchased voting machines have added significant ongoing expenses in material shipping and labor costs. This should have been disclosed to you prior to allowing them to purchase such costly machines. Further, the machines have failed in numbers of ways to perform as promised. There have been and still are opportunities for the commissioners to void the purchase and maintenance contract. Instead, they've used city resources to fight to keep this contract despite the extreme expense and performance failures. The change in Pennsylvania law permitting no excuse mail-in voting, enhanced by the public's awareness of how much safer it will be to vote by mail rather than in person, provided a missed opportunity to the commissioners to reduce their expenses. Voting by mail is much cheaper than purchasing and using the machines. Please consider the logical expenses of advertising, printing material, postage, and staff to scan the ballots versus all those expenses associated with the machines. Commissioner Deely has refused to provide paper ballots to be counted as regular, not provisional votes to voters who prefer at the polls to use them instead of touching the machines. This would in many ways contribute to saving lives of poll workers and voters and will save the machines from the dangers of disinfectant use. Commissioner Deely's inexplicable explanation is that Philadelphians vote on machines, and that's how it will be. We have a very important election coming in November. The commissioners need to think through using public input, a plan for accommodating the likely increased interest in the election, and need to be fully prepared by planning in advance all aspects of a mail-in and in-person election. This requires thought, but almost surely reduced expenses, with so many fewer in-person voters. Please require them to do a good, efficient, and transparent job at a reasonable cost to the electorate. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Once again,
This is Murielle McCarthy.
Hello.
okay, Muriel. Proceed, Muriel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Murielle McCarthy. I'm a Philadelphia resident and a member of Protect Our Vote Philly, and testifying regarding bills 200, 287, and 200, 307. The city can correct a fiscal error made by the city commissioners and save taxpayer money by recouping and reallocating the $29 million the commissioners paid for a faulty voting system. The machines cost 3 times more upfront than the paper ballot system offered by the same vendor. Commissioner Deely justified this premium in exchange for a full-face ballot feature, which we didn't get. The machines also failed in Northampton, and in Philadelphia, we had well-documented problems with our machines. As a minority inspector for my district, I saw some of them and reported them to the commissioners. Commissioner Deely testified on May 26th that the machines will cause election chaos in November because the board, quote, will likely not have the funds to make it through fiscal year 21, due in part to, quote, multiple added costs created by the acquisition of the very machines that she chose. Missing from her testimony is any mention of COVID directly causing the commissioner's funding shortfall. Because Commissioner Deely won't tell us all the operating costs needed to support this overpriced, unreliable machine, City Council and taxpayers should not provide additional funding to the Board of Elections without requiring full transparency from the board. Council members, Please get our $29 million back from the vendor. The vendor failed to deliver their product as promised, and the machines performed poorly. Use a small portion of the recouped money to acquire a safe voting system, then apply the remaining money to help our city during this health and budget crisis. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your advocacy. And now our final testifier. Please proceed. Your name for the record.
Hello, this is Sharon Strauss. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please
Hello?
proceed. Yes.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for having me. I am Sharon Strauss, a member of Indivisible Northwest Philly and Protect Our Vote Philly. I'm commenting on our commissioner's funding request. As you consider this request, note just some of what our Board of Elections has asked for and done since the budget hearings last year. It shows a history of wasteful spending, misleading statements, and a troubling determination to use a controversial voting machine, as well as blatant corruption. At the budget hearing last year, the commissioners quoted a cost of $29 million, which was up significantly from the $20 to $27 million they stated just a few months earlier when selecting the machine. In August, Controller Reinhardt reported that ES&S did not properly disclose lobbying in their bid, giving our Board of Elections a chance to cancel our contract and start again. Acting Board Members Campbell and Furlong ignored many public comments, asked to cancel, and read instead from a pre-written decision citing E&S lobbying arguments in favor of keeping the contract. 1 month later, Controller Reinhardt released a 28-page report documenting significant wrongdoing in procuring voting machines. Few highlights: Commissioners Deely and Schmidt had years of undisclosed campaign contributions and help from ES&S developing their budget request. Meanwhile, Allegheny County, similar in size to Philly, approved a more secure handwork paper ballot voting system for about a third of what we're spending. A lawsuit filed in December seeks to decertify the Express Vote XL in PA, arguing that it violates the election code and state constitution. This case is still in the courts. If the suit is successful and the machines are decertified, the city would be able to change voting systems without losing a penny. The commissioners are not prioritizing safe voting and prudent use of funds. Council should not reward them with more funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Since we have no one else scheduled to testify or on our list, again, I want to thank all of the council colleagues who have hung in there. We've been here since 3 o'clock this afternoon. This is very important. It is a very difficult budget. And seeing no one else left to testify, the committee will stand in recess until Monday, June 1st, 2020 at 9:30, at which time we will reconvene on Microsoft Teams. Thank you, everyone, very much. Thank you to the staff and the team for hanging in there.